okay, I can mention it to see if anyone.
Yeah, I brought up in the other channel. No one's seemed interested in that one, but yeah, if you want to bring it up to any of your people you know, recommendations are good. Just let them know it's homebrew, so it won't be. Mechanically, I'm following the rules of D&D 5th edition, but some of the setting and lore will be different if they're into that stuff.
Yeah, I would just whatever we got to avoid randos.
Yeah, I don't like fishing for randos on Roll20 because you get a lot of cringe characters.
Yeah.
That I had one person the Saturday game. We're recording, but anyway, they came in at level 5 with like a 25 AC on a Warforged Paladin. I'm like, well, fuck me, okay? Like, cool. No magic items too. 25 AC, or 24 or something. It was super high. Like, the only way to match it would be to have +3 armor, essentially. And I was like, you're joking, right? Like, there's no point.
No,
Just
I get the same.
You will never. Your character doesn't improve from 5th to however we're going further this campaign. Your character will never get better than they currently are.
the amount of people that like you'll see like a thread. Like I think in Will's game and in another game I was at the same time, both the DMs were looking for people and they both said like, hey, just kind of give a description about yourself. Don't mention your character. We'll talk about that later. And fucking like 9 out of 10 people just could not help themselves and posted like a 2-page fucking essay about their character. It's like,
Oh. At the very least, because I like to fill roles, like I do that in all multiple games, like in Overwatch and Battlefield Inc., I fill roles, so I'll just say what I am. My first pick is for a class and race, and second pick, and third pick. That's all I'll say. I won't go into details. I'll say if you are interested in details, I'll give them to you, but I'll just say
right.
race, class, race, class, race, class. That way they get an idea of where I want to play. But that's all I'll do.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need. You don't need to.
That's all you really need, and like you can inquire further if you want to give them how they'll fit into the group. But
I didn't even do that. I just said, "Hey, my name's Jesse. I'm down for a good story and also laughing. Hopefully, you're interested."
there were laughs. The story fell apart at the end.
I mean, it fell apart a lot the whole time. It was really strange. Like calling it a storyline is maybe like a little generous. It was more a story. Ideas. I don't know. Like a idea cloud.
Well, like
yeah.
So you guys were on that tangent. For those that watch this later or tune in, no one is tuning in yet, but we're talking about an old campaign we were in. But it was, I know you saving that race of like the 2 sub races that had like one that was superior than the other, you like leveling the playing field, that was a tangent. And I was fine with all that until like I was up, the whole thing was fine. We're like, we gotta find the keystones so we can prevent the evil god's cell or magical prison from being unlocked. And we have the keystones that can prevent him from being unlocked, and then we can track down his followers and kill them all. That's a good story to me. Like you can work with that. But then once the gods just stepped in and fixed everything for us, we're like, well, you just took out the big bad. We don't have anything to do now.
Man.
And then the space aliens.
And then it turned into a space adventure. It turned into Outer Planes or whatever, or the Far Realm or whatever.
It was so weird. Like I feel like he's the best and worst DM I've had. Doesn't make any sense. Like it kind of lent itself to my shenanigans. It was very much just like he really did not have like a plan. I don't think he was very much just like, you guys do your thing. And so that was kind of cool because we could literally just do whatever the fuck we wanted. But at the same time, when it came to like him role-playing characters, the amount of people that just like smiled knowingly at us made me want to fucking vomit into my own eyeballs. Yeah, he just shakes his head knowingly. It's like, okay, I'm gonna fucking smack myself in a second because I want to. It's just the worst. But it was very open. You could do whatever the fuck you want. But God, some things just made me cringe so hard. The bad guys were really bad. They looked stupid. I can't remember what he got it from. Was it Thundercats or something?
He made like his custom.
It was
No,
Like
but he had a
Gargoyles.
picture. Yeah, he had
Yeah,
like a
it
picture.
was something like this, a 90s cartoon.
It was definitely from like some show or movie he saw.
In the Macy.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
some I don't know, whatever. But yeah, good and bad times.
It was my like first like campaign that actually lasted more than a month too, so I was
That was my
excited
first
about
campaign.
that.
It's my first time playing as a player, anyways.
Yeah, we had some good times in that campaign, fond memories. But yeah, let's get on with this one. I'm gonna at
Wait, what happened with what's her name? Did we ever say like, hey, you can't play, or did she just stop coming?
no, I think I posted about it. They just said due to like they got a new job, and due to the time constraints of that like their job, they couldn't play with us anymore. I think I posted that.
Right. If you follow her on Facebook, it's fucking wild. It'll kind of range between her posting what seems to be her legitimately insane mother. From what I can tell, fucking like insane. Like she has screenshots of texts and shit. And then it'll change because I guess she was trying to be a stripper. She'll like post pictures of her just like in a fucking, like, pretty much wearing nothing.
Wait. Do you mean from the old campaign, not from this one?
You're talking about Devin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Devin.
I'm talking about Anastasia.
Oh, I got confused.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know what
Devin-
happened to Devin, really.
Yeah, she just kind of phased out. Good thing she got a tattoo.
Is that where it went downhill from there? Tattoo?
Yeah.
That was the gateway?
Well, it's just like you got a tattoo for D&D and then stopped playing D&D.
Oh.
I mean, hopefully, I don't know. I like to think that hopefully we did something for her. Because, like I said, her parents, or at least her mother, is like just fucking insane. If you ever have the time to go over her Facebook, it's fucking crazy. So maybe we helped her out somehow, but she really did not play a whole lot.
Yeah, it was only for like one session with when Brando was the DM.
Yeah. Anyways.
Alright. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay. So that was a long off tangent. Buying some time until our Onid, our warlock, divine warlock, can get here. But you guys have just basically filled the king in, the guard captain in, and the general of the armies in on what you guys did down in the deep dark, which is the underdark for this homebrew setting. Brenna, the master smith now, promoted after the death of the past master smith, was also there with you. You told him a little bit about the squiggly men, also known as illithids or mind flayers, and then they asked you to help them. Then we began drafting the treaty because you are emissaries of Stormhaven, and so you can speak for them, and you're looking for the dwarves to join the alliance they have against the evil city of Norath. And so they're drafting a treaty where the smiths will help you make these weapons, and then they'll send dwarven troops as well to the front line. Brenna took the one rifle you had to examine it, so that she might reproduce it. And then she went off.
Oh, she's gone now. Damn it.
Yeah, there'll be time for her to speak with her later, but this is like she's like a dwarven nerd, and you just gave her a new piece of technology, so she's going to try to figure out what this thing is. And so she's hurriedly running off to back with her brother.
Wait, 1 second, brother.
What?
So, these things are incredibly dangerous. Is there any way, with your mastery over smithing and metal and such, that you could make some kind of defense against these things? Like, some way of stopping these missiles from hurting us quite as much?
I would just imagine a lot of metal. But, I mean, it might be too restrictive to move in, so we'll have to think of something else. But I'm still have to figure out...
Large plates of metal on wheels.
I I mean, that might work, but then they could just try to flank you or something, or shoot at different elevations. We'll think about it. I gotta figure out how this weapon works first, and then we can think about countermeasures.
Yeah, just put it on the docket.
Yeah.
I did have an idea about the warfare aspect of it. Once you're able to find out how far these things can go and still be effective, I was thinking, well, all right, we have these fellows, but they're still a little bit. They take a little while before they can be used again. So you can have a contingent of pikemen alongside them. This makes them about 50-50. You imagine only a certain amount can be in the front and still fire. They can just cycle them out. You ever seen a cavalry archers do the same thing?
Oh, that could work. I was thinking that I'd get Lon's help too. He's good with mechanical stuff. To get him to figure out a way to improve the firing rate. But we'll see. We'll work on it.
Yeah, you do that. We have some other stuff to attend to.
What if it was just I mean, can you just make it sharp at the end? Give them something.
Like a pointy bit. Yeah, we can do that too.
A stabbing part.
Yeah, we're gonna make some for you guys too.
Oh,
well.
I mean, the least we can do. You did save our lives.
I mean, I would not say no to a ranged killing machine.
So yeah, she will hurriedly, after she says it, she will say, "Okay, gotta go," and she'll hurriedly run off back to the where the dwarven smiths live, in a lower sort of floor of the city.
Excitable little one. Anyways, are we still talking to the king here? Or?
You guys have just left, so she's left with you. So you've left the grand hall of the king essentially, and you were speaking right outside the doors.
I mean, do we need to rest? Or?
You can if you want, but keep in mind the way up from the Underdark is like 2 days' time on an elevator. I think 2 to 3 days. So you technically don't, but you can if you want to sleep in a bed that's better than just a cot.
Did we get the benefits?
Yes, you had the benefits of a long rest.
Okay.
Should probably like re-up on some board games and like books.
Yeah, go buy a dragon chess set, some playing cards, a musical instrument that's not obnoxious. Just a simple lute will do.
I have so many drugs on me right now. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, if you do want, there are shady areas of all cities. So if you want to try to buy some more, you can attempt to. There's like a dock place in the Dwarven city, where they have, it's basically a large underground lake, and that's the source of the Rune River, which is how they sort of ship their goods off to Rydal and Stormhaven, formerly Norath, that sort of thing.
Cool.
So, but there are ships there. There's what you expect: sailors, contraband, maybe. So if you want to try to, find some people that would sell you a little something, that might be a good place to check. I'm gonna need to make some more drugs for you guys because I feel like the two we have are kind of boring.
I suppose I'll ask. All right, what's our plan of attack here? Are we going to deal with the drow right now?
That's what I was thinking. We'll find some things to occupy our time, but otherwise it's direct approach. That's it.
Let's do it. What was the person's name that we were going to try and
Yeah, I'll
find?
type it into.
Some.
I think that's the right spelling. Let me actually open up my notes. So I have it. Here we go. Yes, that is right. And she has the tall, like the guard captain / king said, she has the tallest house of all the drow. They're usually 1 or 2 stories. Hers is the only 3-story building.
All right. Like, do we know enough about this place where she's in? Are we gonna get like shanked there? Like,
You
are they
did
hostile?
pass through it on your way to the deep dark, and you got an uneasy feeling while you were there, but you didn't sense, in the words of anime, murderous intent directed towards you. Um, it was
Wary.
some of you, especially Slizik, you've been in rough places. You know when people are looking at you, about to jump you. You didn't get that feeling. You got more like a sense of they were wary of you. That you were outsiders and they didn't know what to do with you, so they were observing you.
Okay. Well, I guess you guys want to head on over there, try and find this Alara person.
And that's the plan.
Let's do it. We do so.
All right.
Yeah, I do pick up some books and parlor games, and I don't know if anyone's actually good with an instrument. That might be worse. So I won't do that.
I am absolutely not.
So you guys make your way down the four sort of floors, if you will, of the city, until you get once again to that where the road sort of shifts from nice and well paven to sort of a bit more rougher. Um, not exactly a dirt road, but it's not as well kept. You could see the odd missing uh, tile. I don't know what the brick would be a better term. Brick that here, there, and stuff like that. But you get there and you see once again that sign that says one says Undercity and the other one says Docks, and you head on down to the Undercity.
I'm just keeping an eye out for anyone that's maybe paying us too much attention.
Yeah, you get that. You get those. You get that same sense of people watching you. It's sort of like it's omnipresent and sort of suffocating because it's like a heavy atmosphere in this area. Um, and you see people glancing at you from windows, like the shutters of a window. Um, actually, no, because they don't have wood down here. In fact, so something I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but most of the structures here are stone, and wood is a rarity. Um, so only like the most rich people have wood in their homes. So there would be no wood here. It's all stone. Their shutters would, if they have them, I don't know what it would be made out of. Mud. I don't know. Like
Can like what's the relationship? Do I know between the dwarves and the drow? Like, they're in the same city, right?
Yes.
They're just in a different.
It's uneasy at best. So the lore is, I don't know if you would know this, but give me a history check, Alistair. And you can explain what you have, if you learn anything from this history check to Slizik.
Yeah, you see Slizik scrunch up his brow.
Because you've been on the sea, you're like, drow, I mean, I've seen a couple at sea, but I don't really know what the... Okay, yeah.
Damn.
So...
29 do it.
Jesus.
29 will do it. So like how, during the Great Wars, when the drow came into being, so similar to how some dragons and devils switched sides from the evil side to the good side, and orcs, and they begot dragonborn and tieflings and half-orcs that fought on the side of good in the war. Some of the elves switched or were corrupted to join the enemy side during the Great War. And so due to that, people sort of hate drow. Now, they were also during the war, some drow that were forcibly changed to serve evil broke free of their shackles and went back to the good side. But because they were so closely associated with the enemy, there's been this sort of prejudice against them ever since. and
But they aren't like one of the ones that Narisi, or sorry, not Narisi, the evil goddess whose name escapes me at the moment. They're not one of her
Eris.
creations.
No, they're not one of her creations. They were
They were just kind of coerced.
yeah, they were corrupted by her to serve her. So, it's not originally one of her creations, but they do serve her, for the most part. But the ones that switched back, that were corrupted against their will, and switched back to the good side during the war, need a place to stay, and something about their transformation forced them to, or not forced them, they couldn't be in direct sunlight. It pained them to be in direct sunlight. And so they needed a place to stay. The only place they really could stay was Dwarven City, which was a mountain. So they could stay in there and not have direct sunlight on them and be hunky-dory. Everything be fine. The problem is, dwarves are not, they don't really like other races, like any other races, and especially those they consider traitors and enemies of good races and murderers and that sort of thing. So they basically put them underneath their city in the slums of the Dwarven City, which is called the Undercity. So it's like, if you played Skyrim, it's kind of like how the Nords treat the Dark Elves in the Stormcloak capital, which I forgot the name of it. It's like that.
Right, I know what you mean. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I relay all this. Yeah, it's so simply they were on the wrong side. They joined the wrong side. People don't like them for it. Now they live here because it's too dark.
Damn. What fate for people who chose the right side.
What do we know about Alara?
You don't know much about her. The only thing the guard said, guard captain said, was that she lives in the tallest building in the Undercity. Alaire's a female name, so there's that too. So you're looking for a female drow / dark elf, whatever you want to call them, and in a 3-story building.
Is that hard to find in a slum like this, a 3-story building?
No, because it is the only 3-story building here. All the other ones are because it's a slums. They didn't really give them good lodgings, so they're like, you don't need use 1 or 2-story buildings. You're fine. Squat, ugly, practical, all functional, all stone. So sleep on a stone bed, have a good time with that, sort of thing.
Basically, tenements.
Yeah.
Made of stone. Okay.
Just imagine ugly, squat stone buildings, and hers is the only 3-story one.
All right.
I pop one of those little dark vision things. Mushrooms.
Yeah, so it is lit down here still. They have like glow globes and some fungi that does light up and stuff like that. Maybe a offshoot of the family that grants you dark vision. But you do still have I'll say you have 1 more dose of that that fungi that you could eat that grants you dark vision for an hour.
I thought we had 20.
You've been popping them like crazy in the deep dark.
Were we there for that one?
You were sharing it between yourself, Slizik, Aja. So you had 20 total, but you're sharing between 3 or 4 people.
So it's what is it completely dark here, or are we just?
No, it's dimly lit down here.
Oh, okay. That's fine with me.
So you can still see, but like the light is like they have like so-called lampposts, but they're interspaced very poorly. And this is like stereotypical slums, like except it's stone. So dirt roads, you see there's like a bazaar, you see those are like there's like some ramshackle wooden like stalls and stuff like that. People bartering. You're coming in early in the morning ish, so it's like 9 a.m., 8 a.m. And you see some people bartering. You're passing a lot of wary faces. People in the marketplace are more concerned with selling or buying things than paying attention to you, really. So unless you obviously make your presence known, they won't pay you any mind. But you do see, give me a perception check, everyone.
Can I, included with this perception check, see what they're selling? See what they're selling?
Yeah.
No,
All right.
never mind.
You can't, but 16 and 12 is good enough. You do see the 3-story building. It's located, you guess, about in the middle of the city. Um, and then what they're selling looks to be like fabric, very rough fabric. They're selling not vegetables, selling like various fungi, mushrooms, stuff like that. They're selling some fish too, looks like, maybe caught from the underground lake. So stuff like that. Also some cheaply made craft items, looks like, maybe out of straw or something like that. But yeah, there's nothing fancy here. If there's anything gold or seeming to be shiny, with a 16 perception, Alistair, you can tell that it's most likely fake. There's some scratches on it where the flaking it's flaked off, and you can see the dull gray of a more common metal underneath.
I wouldn't waste their time buying anything yet.
Fair enough. I suppose let's find this Alera. I can't see shit. So.
Well, you can't see anything specific. You get, general things. You see the marketplace. You don't see the 3-story building, but you're in a marketplace, so you see a marketplace around you. But if you're looking for specifics past that, you don't really got anything.
This place is crazy.
So, whatever. There was the 3-story building, right? Explain.
Aye.
All right, we do that.
All right, you make your way to the 3-story building. There is the door is the door is like open, and the doorway is open, and you go inside. You see the first floor. Let's see. You see a light on in the second. Sorry, let me back up. You're approaching this 3-story building, the largest of its kind in the Undercity. It's made of rough stone, like a light gray material, and very square, and not at all, like I said, barely a hint of architecture. Genius. Certainly a far cry from Stormhaven, or the other parts of the place you've been in Khazar-El-Dun. But you do see a light on in the second story of the building. The doorway, like most of the doors here, is open because they don't really have wood or anything to block off a doorway, and they can't afford it. So the doorways are open, and you sort of just walk in to the first floor of this building. You see that it looks to be like it's not exactly well appointed, but you see like things like couches here, and chairs, maybe a waiting room, some tables. You do see some pots for some decoration. There's not decoration in the way of art, but there's decoration in the way of flowers would need light, but there are fungi here, different colored fungi growing in various pots around the room, and they're not all dull gray colors. Some are light green or light blue or light red, so they serve to really lighten up the place. And you see stairs in the back leading up to the second story. But you don't, in the first floor, you don't see anyone, and the lights aren't on. So the only light you're getting is sort of being projected behind you and filtering in through the doorway.
Can I hear anything coming from upstairs?
Give me a perception check.
Sure will.
And that -2 or 3 is not good. Oh wait, no. You have the 0 bonus because you're proficient in perception. Save 0.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, no, you don't hear anything. You just hear the breathing of you and your companions.
This seems
We
normal.
didn't just walk in, did we?
Yeah, you just
I thought we did.
walked in.
Yeah.
The doorway is open. Like I said, there's no doors here to stop you from walking in.
I would prefer to stay outside and call out.
Okay.
Just to,
So you don't see anyone in the first, or you can look in and not enter. But you don't see anyone. This is what you see then. Looking in, you see all that. You don't see anyone in the first floor. There are no lights on. And you see stairs in the back. But other than that, you can try to call out, but you'll need to project your voice so it carries, because there are lights on the second floor, so there's probably someone there. But there's no one on the first floor.
Thaumaturgy,
All right.
I'll make my voice all loud and call it, "Excuse me, anyone there? Emissaries from Stormhaven."
So you do hear, you hear a yelp, and like a clattering, like someone fell down, and then you hear a groan, and then a couple more seconds after that, you see a woman's face come to the window of the second story, and say, "Oh, hello. Who did you say you were again?"
Emissaries from Stormhaven.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure to meet, your majesties and graces, lords. It's a pleasure to meet you, lords and ladies. Just give me a second. Yes, you can come up to the second story. Just walk right in. There's no door. The stairs are in the back. You should be able to see it.
Okay.
Start heading on in.
Not the most charismatic leader.
He didn't say. Keep in mind, he didn't say leader. He said representative.
Sure.
And so, you guys walk right in, and you come up to the second story, and you see a scene in front of you. This looks like, well, the first story looked to be like maybe a waiting room, or a place where people could maybe congregate. The second story seems to be like her place of business, so to speak. There's a desk here, a chair behind it. There are bookcases with some very musty tomes on them, that sort of thing. And it looks like it looks like, from what you can tell, because she is sheepishly trying to decide whether to make refreshments for esteemed guests such as yourselves, and or clean up the mess that she made at her desk. It appears that your thaumaturgy startled her, and she was working on a bunch of papers, and they are spread everywhere on the floor.
Whoops.
And so she's like checking the hot water to make sure she can make tea for you all, and then she's going back to pick up a few papers, and then she's straightening the dress she's wearing, and fixing her hair and stuff like that. She says, "Lords and ladies of Stormhaven, I apologize for my appearance and the appearance of my office. I did not expect your visit. If I had, I would have prepared things in advance. But just a moment, you can sit down on the seats there. I have cushions somewhere." And then she's looking around, and she goes to a small room, maybe a closet, and brings out these old, like maybe what were once very nice, like seat cushions, but over the years maybe have faded in color and they're dusty. And she's like, "Oh, these are really all I have for seat cushions. So if you're not used to sitting on stone, you can use them, but I wouldn't want to get your dress dirty."
I see. It's quite all right. We'll make us.
You're roboting out there, Jesse. Hello. Hello. And yeah, so whereas you guys are wearing like, you know, mithril armor or magic items and silk cloth given to you from Stormhaven, her dress is very like, it's made of that same fabric you saw at the marketplace, so it's very rough. And it's drab colors too.
So just they're making do, even if fancy folk are kind of making do as well.
Yeah.
Hello.
You're back. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, I was just saying that whereas you guys were wearing fancy clothes, which she was concerned about your dress because you're also emissaries of a different city, a prominent one at that. Her dress, and you're wearing like magic items and silk basically from Stormhaven. She's wearing material. She's wearing a dress made of that material you found at the. Well, you didn't see it, but she's wearing a very rough dress. Like the fabric on it is very rough, like almost akin to sackcloth, really.
I just grab whatever the dirty pillow or blanket. Or
Yeah, it's a seat
whatever
cushion for you.
I grab it and I just unceremoniously put it underneath me and I just lounge in the nearest chair. Just,
That seems to
really
your immediate acceptance of this seems to relax her somewhat.
yeah, for sure.
She's like, okay, just get the tea is brewing. I don't know. I don't have any leaves from Stormhaven. Just the local stuff we got here, so it may not be to your taste, but it's really all I have. But okay.
I'm sure they'll do fine.
And she's looking still at the papers on the floor. She looks back at you. She's like, I'll clean up that later. Okay. And then
What?
she like,
Sorry, what was the paper on the floor?
it's a bunch of papers that she has. You
Is it
haven't.
anything interesting? Can I tell?
You can give me a perception check to see.
Sure will. I can find it. Boop.
I can just picture Slither
No.
laying out on
You can't. You can't see anything from distance. You see words on there.
Yeah, I make myself real at home.
You notice that it's only thing you can notice is that it's written in Elvish, but I don't know if you're proficient in Elvish or not.
Nope.
So you recognize the Elvish script, but you can't read Elvish, so you're like, whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. I would. The tea would be wonderful.
I'm sorry, did you say something with Nine More Lives? Okay, so can you read Elvish?
Yes.
Okay, so you see it's like, you're not certain about what the job, what the job requirements of the representative means, but it looks like she's going over reports. There's one about there's a thief in the marketplace, and they're trying to, get the neighborhood watch to find out who it is, so they can apprehend them and turn them over to the guards. You see that there's like marriage license or like petitions to be married or to buy property. That sort of thing. You also see a lot of reports about the attacks on the Dwarven guards and her interactions with the city as well. The Dwarven people from the city.
So she's some kind of administrator, pretty much.
Yeah, probably the closest thing to that the Drow have. She's sort of like the bridge between the Drow and the Dwarven people.
So I'm not gonna mince words here. We've had some word from the Dwarven King that there have been some incidences recently. we're here to deal with it.
Oh, yes, you're here, but of course you're here, but why else would people, esteemed person such as yourself, be here, if it wasn't about that? So, yes, we have been investigating the string of recent attacks by fellow members of my race on dwarven guardsmen in the Undercity. Did they? She doesn't have any cheese. Slizzik. Oh.
They got bats, don't they? Bats got milk.
Eating tea.
If you ask her, she can respond, but she doesn't have any cheese. She only has tea. It's made of fungi.
Look, I asked her.
Can't believe
Hey,
they
do
don't have
bats
any
have
bat
milk?
tea.
Have you ever tried to milk a bat? It's very hard,
That's, I believe you. Yeah.
and they don't make a lot. And
This
we usually just eat a bat rather than make cheese from it. It's
I'll
milk.
be honest, the bat milk economy is much more fascinating to me, but we do have a job going on here. As much as I'd like to find out
Well,
more about how you milk a bat.
I know the dwarves are concerned about attacks on their own people, but did they also mention that the drow have also been attacking each other randomly?
I don't believe so.
It's like
Was it?
she makes a face and she's like, of course they wouldn't.
Well, was it consistent with the attacks that the drow made, where it was made with improvised weapons? It would appear
Yes.
in a bit of passion.
Yes, we most recently, the dwarves don't really care if it's drow on drow violence. But most recently, the other day, we had an attack in the marketplace where someone they were bartering over a price of an item, and then the would-be buyer just got enraged. Maybe he was insulted by the seller's asking price, and just pulled the vendor over his stall, threw him to the street, just began punching his face in. And it took 5 people to pull him off, and he began attacking them too.
Let's just be upfront. We wouldn't be here if this was a minor policing incident. There's something bigger going on here. Do you know anything about it?
She thinks, and she
if-
says, well,
We wouldn't be sent if it was just a guy getting mad in a marketplace and attacking.
it was a lot of those. That's what happened most recently. There's been a lot of them. My point is, it's not just dwarven drow attacking dwarves. It's random attacks against anyone. But we did have, before the Smiths went down to the Undercity for a long time, I just saw them come back just recently, actually. But before they were down there for a long time, they sent someone over to look to see if we were trying to play some sort of trick on them with magic or something. And they ruled that out. So if whoever's behind this isn't using magic, but I don't know what it could be.
I think I get what's going on here.
What do you think?
We encountered a certain drug which has a very similar effect on
Several
people.
times.
If someone were to introduce this into the water supply or surreptitiously get it into somebody's system, I feel like we would have a similar situation as what you described here.
Is there a way of tracking, like, did these attacks, are they happening in a certain...
So when you say drug to her, she says, well, that's... Huh. Wait, where is it? Where is it? And she says, yes. Last night, I just remember this. I was supposed to, she looked sheepishly. She says, I was working late, and I fell asleep at my desk, and when you yelled if there's anyone there, I woke up. Before you came, in the morning, I was supposed to visit, Emerald Levere's house. And I'll put his name in here. He came...
Bam!
What was that for?
Emerald. He says Bam.
Oh, sorry, the chef. Yeah, okay, I got you now. The name is spelled differently. It's spelled the Elven way you would spell Emerald, so I didn't get it at first.
Levi's.
Just yeah, she was like, yes, he came to me last night and he was yelling about, or he was hysterical. He was talking about how he had figured everything out and he needed to talk to me, but it was really late and he was hysterical and he was yelling and he mentioned something about a drug, and I just said, just go and sleep and I'll go and see him first thing in the morning. But we can go over to his house together if you want to ask. He might know if it's a drug or something. He said he figured it out. So he maybe meant the attack. What's causing my fellow drow to attack people? We can go over to his house and see.
That might be lies. Yeah. I'll bring my best friend here. I'll pull out my massive thunder maul or whatever.
I think is it called Thunderstruck?
That's the one. It's made out of
It's been a long time since we played, so I forgot everyone's
yeah.
items. Solace is Onids. Yours is Thunderstruck, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could draw. I wish I could draw this stuff out.
Aja's is called. Oh, wait, no, you haven't got it yet. Can't spoil it. I have them all written out. I just don't.
Isn't it in the item?
Yeah, they're hidden though. The ones that are everyone else's are hidden. The ones you haven't found yet.
I see.
Alistair, if you think there's drugs in the water, why wouldn't everyone be going crazy?
That's why I was gonna.
It might not be the water, the certain food item. That way it would be a bit more dispersed.
Is this the drug that aerosolizes?
So, give me an intelligence check. It's Aja, I think. Okay, you're trying to recall. You think that what Alistair is bringing up is a drug called Fury, which basically it's a combat stimulant, and it is an aerosol. It's a glass bottle that you can usually you just pop open the cork on the top and breathe it in, or you can even shatter the bottle as long as it's close to, the face zone, so you can inhale it. But yeah, it's like a red mist in a bottle. Or gas in a bottle.
What is it? Popping these left and right.
But you haven't heard of it being made in other ways, that like made into a liquid form they could put into water or stuff or to lace food with it. You haven't heard anything about that yet. There might be a recent development in Fury production, but you're not sure.
So yeah, let's go talk to Emerald.
Follow her over there.
All right. Yeah, she says, let me get just a few things. She says, well, the tea can wait. And, yeah, she just takes it off of the water, off whatever, heating it up, the heating element. She just takes it off. And she just basically gets a coat. Yeah, she's pretty much ready to go when she gets a coat and proper shoes. And yeah, so she leads you back downstairs over to Emerald's house. She says she's talking to you along the way because from what you've got from her, she seems like a very nervous individual. You're not certain how a representative is chosen, but maybe she's also very young for a drow. Looking at her, it's always hard to tell with elves, but for those who've had any experience with them, for example, those who speak Elvish, she's probably not even 200. Um,
Gasp.
which is will they live to be about 800 to 1,000 years old. So if you're not even 200, you're basically not even 20 yet in human years.
I'll just ask her, how did you come to become the representative of your kind in this place? Can't be an easy job.
Oh, well, we had an election. I didn't want to run, but some of my friends thought it'd be funny to put me up, put my name in there, and luck of the draw, I was chosen. Yay!
What do you mean, luck of the draw?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. It's not an election. It's a raffle. I'm sorry. This is a DM misspeaking, not her. So basically, you choose a name. You write someone's name down who you think would be good. And then they put it into, and then they choose one at random, and my name was chosen.
Well, can I just say, real bad way of doing it.
Yeah, it's not great, but this is the way we've always done it, and so, it's largely a superficial role. You don't really have a lot of power here. You mainly just grant people business licenses or construction permits or marriage license, liquor license, things like that. You do
Liquor license?
you do some like interaction with the guard and other people, but you don't really have a lot of power. If they say they want to do something, or they're going to level some houses to build widen a section of road or something like that, you really can't really do anything about it. Liquor license, yes, we do have some bars here. Uh, they're usually along the main road, from the elevator back up to the dwarven city proper. Yeah, you can stay at one of them if you like, but I mean, if you're able, I wouldn't recommend them to such esteemed personages as yourselves. The hotels and taverns in the upper city are much more luxurious than what we have down here.
Hmm.
Can I ask you, would your people, would they be willing to fight for Stormhaven if the opportunity was brought up?
What do you mean? What do you mean fight for Stormhaven?
Have you not heard?
Yeah, no, she's intrigued by your question, but she does not. She doesn't know why they would want them to fight.
Have you not heard about the war?
We don't really get out much down here.
Oh, boy.
Jeez.
Strap in.
Yeah. So,
As long story as short as we can make it.
Norath bad.
Yes, Norath is. They attack you. They have these weapons that can kill people from long distances. Also, some dark and evil magic. We think that there may be some involvement of these strange creatures with the tentacle faces involved.
It's the reason we're here. It's to gain.
We're uniting everything.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that I never liked the Norathians, but you're saying that they have super good magic and super explodey bows, and they're trying to start fights.
Yeah.
All right.
So you win?
I can't speak for everyone. But I mean, if what they're doing is wrong, but we don't really have a lot of fighters amongst us. I can try talking to everyone. After we're done with this, if solving this mystery of drow attacks.
Sorry, that was.
I don't know. She would say it differently, but she saw this mystery of random attacks in drow. So
Right.
you obviously want, if you wanted us as far, you want reliable allies, you can't exactly have drow randomly attacking soldiers or other people or civilians. That would, I mean, it'd make our already poor reputation even worse. So, yeah.
You would be invaluable assets in the war, so we'll do whatever we can, I suppose.
And I mean, we do have some inherent magic, so we might be useful in that regard. But we don't really have. I mean, we're not really allowed to have weapons down here.
What do you mean?
The dwarves don't like it. And so like any of the drow that we don't really have like a police force, and we have a neighborhood watch. But yeah, we just mainly deal with like thieves and stuff. People trying to be cheats, stuff like that.
Can I? This is maybe getting too into it. Can I tell if she's lying about the election thing? I maybe feel like she's kind of weak and she might be being manipulated. Am I able to insight that?
You can try to.
I mean, this person doesn't seem like someone. Oh, they weren't elected though, were they? It was a fucking raffle.
It was a raffle, so you can try.
Right.
Give me an intelligence check. This will be an intelligence check, not insight. You can do both if you want, but what you're trying to figure out is intelligence.
Well, insight is very bad for me, so intelligence it is.
All right.
Still pretty bad.
You are very. You think. Let me see. Okay, so this.
It just seems strange to me. Why wouldn't they overthrow this person they don't like unless they had something to gain from having her as their figurehead?
Okay. So, what exactly you're trying to figure out? If you can word it better, I can give you.
Yeah,
I can
sorry,
potentially
I'm
give
kind
you
of
what you
vague.
want to know. Basically, okay.
I suppose. Can I?
Someone else roll intelligence and help him, because he'll bring this up. He can bring this up.
Come on.
You're very close to figuring out it.
Well, I just.
Okay. It's not a save, but that's still good. So basically, Aja, what you think is going on with so Slizik Brent mentions like why were you basically elected via raffle and not popular vote is what he brings up. And she's like, well, I never really thought about why we do it the way we do it, is what she says. You think, Aja, that the reason they do it like that is because they want the dwarves want you don't know how often these raffles occur, but the dwarves don't want a united sort of drow leader. Like they don't want a popular leader, because then they can start potentially maybe making demands that their situation improves. Have more representative role in decisions made in the Undercity, that sort of thing. So they're trying to keep them fragmented, weak, so they, along with taking away most of their weapons, so they can't stage an uprising or something like that.
Oh,
So the dwarves.
The dwarves instituted. You think the dwarves instituted the method of choosing the representative, rather, because it is strange to choose leader via raffle rather than like by birthright. Generally, it's by birthright or by popular vote. It's generally how it goes down for getting a leader. But raffle is too random to choose a reliable leader, one that's strong, and that could, improve the lives of their people. So you think the raffle system was put into place to purposely oppress, so to speak, the drow.
So in order to kind of test my theory, I'm going to ask her, do the dwarves, do they infringe on your way of life in other ways too?
She says, well, like I said, if they make decisions regarding the Undercity, they can pretty much do whatever they want. We don't have much say here, but like, they usually try to not be down here. They don't really like us a lot. I mean, most people aren't, but dwarves especially don't really like us. So, yeah, they, I mean, the guards have always been strict, but they've gotten a little more so with all these random attacks. Occasionally they'll take some drow in for questioning randomly, that sort of thing.
Have any of your people ever tried to challenge them?
Oh, no. I don't think that would go over very well.
So in your entire history, as two races living so close to one another, there's never been a challenge?
No.
I mean that this isn't right, right? Look, you guys haven't really done anything worth complete enslavement, almost.
I mean, slaves imply we're working for them. They usually just try to leave us alone.
I mean, what do you get paid compared to a normal dwarf craftsman?
Well, we use different money. They don't really
Oh.
pay us in gold, in dwarven
Oh.
gold.
What do they pay you in?
We use our own currency down here. It's different from what Khazar-El-Dun uses.
Would it be worth anything outside of Khazar-El-Dun?
It wouldn't be worth anything outside the Undercity.
Oh,
The docks, too. We sometimes trade with dock workers and stuff. But other than those two places, not really.
pretty good way to keep you kind of penned in, huh?
I haven't really thought about it like that before.
Just sort of just company script.
Just, you know, it's just the way we've always done things.
Oh dear.
Do I? Look, the dwarves aren't completely terrible people. I'm not saying that, but in this instance, they're frightfully wrong. That's not the term I wanted to use, but you know what I mean. I mean, they can't keep you here like this.
Well, where else would we live?
Above ground? I mean, even just in the
She like grimaces when you say that, and
Look,
like, and she does like it's a slight recoil. It's not like oh, but she's like, it's not because of you. It's because of the idea of living above ground.
well, that's fair. But
Okay, now I've had a bit of an idea here. If each drow was outfitted with a large umbrella as well as some stained glass spectacles.
right.
What's an umbrella?
It's a thin piece of cloth stretched out into a circle that you hold over your head that blocks the sun and the rain from hitting.
Rain. That's the
It's with
water
a
that falls from the sky, right?
That's the one.
Much.
Yes.
Oh, okay. We don't get that a lot down here. Or sun.
I'm
It
not
would
saying
protect you from that.
you don't necessarily have to go up above. You just have to be treated with some dignity. I mean, as a representative of your people, don't you feel like that's the case? That your people should have some dignity?
You don't even have a door on your thumb.
Those would take wood. Wood's expensive.
You don't need.
I
to
saw
build
wood
the
once.
doors out of wood.
I saw wood once.
The
It was very
doors,
pretty.
They're made of metal and stone.
They don't. You have purposely not seen a lot of metal here. Like, that's a certain thing you also haven't seen. Probably because metal can be sharpened to make a blade.
Look, maybe we can talk some sense into the Dwarven King after we've solved this job. But from what I can see, you people deserve to be treated just the same as the others, right?
Oh, Well, you're
I
like the
mean, you
first
really
person to
believe
ever say that to me.
I'm sure it's very cliche.
But it's weird. Never thought about it like that. I was always taught to be grateful that we have a place to stay and to not rock the boat.
I mean, I suppose.
But I'm for
Well,
like
here's the thing. There needs to be a certain degree of what is called social mobility.
That's the,
But I would like
It's
to learn more about the outside world, like more about rain and the sun. I heard it moves through the sky. It doesn't stay in one place. Isn't that weird?
it's pretty wild.
no. I have to say, I think that your people would make excellent troops for nighttime activity, subterfuge, spying, scouting. Like a scout that can move at night and see further into the dark than anyone else.
Oh,
Perfect.
yeah. From the few drow sailors we have, they say that the night sun doesn't hurt them.
The nights.
How are you with you mean these drowsers?
I think they called it
What
the
about,
moon moo.
that's the one. No, what about overcast or thunderstorms? When so there's these things called cloud, and they're like bits of fluffy gas that cover up the sun. So
She's listening with
have any of your
she is transfixed. She's listening to every word because she's drinking in this knowledge that you get the feeling. This is a feeling you recognize it well, Alistair. This is like a person who desires knowledge. She's like a student essentially.
Oh, perfect.
Like she desires knowledge. This is the feeling of like she's trying to learn as much as she can from what you're saying. It's like wait. And she even pulls out a notepad and is like writing things down as you're saying.
Oh, of course. Well, now that you're interested, there's this thing called the water cycle, and that the water
I pull up a
evaporates
chair
from the
and
land,
drink.
gathers up in the sky, turns into these clouds that are able to block out, because they're little beads of water, block out sunlight.
Wait, how does water float in the air?
Oh my god, you have no idea what you're doing right
Because that's the thing, water can exist in three states of matter.
now.
And they're all very similarly placed to each other. The boiling point, the freezing point.
Can we just
They're all quite close.
should
You
we
want
leave?
all of our
So-
water?
Freezing is cold. Does that
By
happen during
evaporation.
Does that happen during what you call winter? I heard it's very cold during winter. We don't get seasons down
Correct,
here.
Correct.
I think I have
And
to watch.
actually, winter might be the best time for you to actually come up because the sun isn't out, or rather, it's blocked a lot of it. This is what I'm asking. Have any of your sailors come out during when the sun is blocked, and is it okay then?
Well, those that choose the sailor's life sort of they travel out. We don't really. They're kind of like not exactly outcasts. We don't really talk to them a lot. They don't really like. So I before I was a representative on like dares, we would go down to the docks and try to find sailors and drow sailors and talk to them to learn more about the outside world.
As it is, I do believe that we certainly can have a place for your people in this coming war. Very vital roles to play. And even if they choose not, they elect not to sally out during on these long-term campaigns, do a little bit of night mission. We can just have you in the dwarven work lines, just doing some simple crafts. And we're going to supply the war machine, as it were.
She seems shocked for a bit, and she says, "No one's really ever asked the drow to help them with like anything, like ever."
Well, yeah, we're starting that. But this is something we'll figure out once we get your issues.
Yes, of course, the matter at hand. Right. She puts the notepad and pen away.
How many places which specific areas have had this? You know the market. Where
Well, that's the thing. It's all over. I mean, I have reports that from where the attacks from attacks have taken place. They've taken place, like I said, seemingly at random. Can't find a pattern. We can't find anything in common between the attackers, other than they're all drow, of course. I don't know if it's a drug. I don't know how they're introducing it to, or how they're giving it to these people.
Was there any connection between these people? Were they in the same district? Were they drinking from the same well? Anything?
She says, I had a map. I didn't show it to you, but it's back at my office. But it's like I said, it's all over the Undercity. Seemingly, like I said, at random. We didn't find a pattern. We didn't find it localized in any part of the Undercity. The only commonality seems to be that they were all drow.
I don't think it's in the water.
If it was, it would affect the far more people.
I have a spell that can help me find out where it could be.
What spell's that?
It's for my little bit of dabbling in the clerical arts. They detect poison and disease.
Do you have a detect
Yeah,
alcohol spell? Because that would be amazing.
Alcohol is technically poison.
It's the same thing.
Alcohol is technically poison. Your body can't digest it. That's why it goes to your liver.
No, it's good for you. I swear.
Any intoxicant should count as a poison.
I mean,
But unfortunately, you have to get within 30 feet of it, though.
Yeah, but it does last for 30 minutes or 10 minutes.
Yep.
A good amount of time, so you can cover a good bit of ground.
let's do it.
But you have approached, or you're talking along the way, I would imagine, as you're walking to Emerald's house.
Yeah.
And she sort of getting closer to the house. She says, "Well, Emerald has 2 small kids, so they're not used to seeing. I see other people more often than not due to my position, but they're not used to seeing non-drow, so they might be afraid of you or inquisitive. Just try to bear with them."
Okay, what are their names?
Oh, let me make something up real quick. Let's go to the drow name generator. Dude, I hate no. See, that's the thing. I painstakingly choose names for all my NPCs, and when anyone asks me to make up a name on the spot, I get so bent out of shape.
Judson.
Um,
All you gotta do is make
Just
some
go with your heart. Yeah.
Capernary. There's one.
Natalia.
Capernary.
Bengia.
Hitaxilon.
Benzius.
Bug.
Let's go with Alessa for the daughter, and for the boy, let's go with I'm gonna start. Let's go with
Peter
an L.
Monson. Decker.
Dexter.
Milford.
Telemantrio.
This is not okay. If this was in the Forgotten Realms, the other campaign, I would just name everyone Bob. All the guys would be Bob or Tom or whatever generic name.
No, everyone in Forgotten Realms would have fuck names.
Oh yeah, I blame
Forgotten
Chris
Realms
Perkins
are
and solely Chris Perkins for
absolute
that.
trash.
Yeah, like
Literally terrible.
Erstal Floxen, Floon Blagmar, just garbage fake names.
Literally the worst.
That's why I agonize over names, because I've seen the quality of names that they put out. And I'm like, no, we can be better than Erstal Floxen. We have to be. Okay, and let's go with Alessa and Horatio. I don't want that's how you spell it, but we're going with that.
Horatio.
Yeah.
I know they're not elven names, but we'll go with it.
Horatio the elf.
All right, and so you guys get to their doorway. It's kind of on the outskirts of town, not towards the road leading up towards. I was going for an H name, and Horatio for some reason is the only one that came to mind.
Horatio the elf. Oh my god.
Okay, it's at least it is a name.
Yeah, sure it is.
See, now you're laughing, so I have to come up with an actual one. That's the
Oh,
thing.
you do. It's so fun. It's so good, Horatio.
Is this D&D or is this Hamlet?
Yeah, it's like when kids like grow up and outgrow their names.
Here's-
Like, it sounds good for a baby, and then
Or here's
you
the
grow
thing.
into a 400-year immortal, and Horatio doesn't sound as good.
We have a habit of choosing Shakespearean names because in our other
Right.
campaign we have Amelia and Desdemona,
That was. Pretty
and we have both never read Midsummer's Night
I don't
Dream.
think that was on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got mine from an old timey style podcast.
So yeah, we have both never read Midsummer's Night Dream, but we both chose characters' names from that play. So
Yeah, the guy was kind of influential, I guess. Whatever.
yeah, I mean whatever. But yeah, so we have now. It's gonna bother me now. Okay, let's go to Drow.
Dude, it's Horatio. Big H. Triple H.
I hate using the name generic because it's usually garbage. Ildan. Here we go. Not quite Illidan, but we'll go Ildan and Alessa.
All right. You go to the house.
What are the kids' names? Okay. So you're going to the house, and give me a perception roll, everyone, as you're approaching the house.
I use my wizard eyes.
This is smell.
I use my wizard eyes.
If you want to, you can. This is actually quite good. So Aja just smells the alcohol on her own breath, so she can't really smell anything in front of her. The rest of you, as you're approaching, you're about a step or two from the open doorway from the house. You smell a coppery tang in the air. You recognize that smell well. Those having fought numerous battles. The smell of blood.
Weapons out.
Oh,
Should I advance slowly upon this domicile?
Yeah. From the outside, you don't see anything out of place,
I just smell blood.
but you smell blood. You got about 1 or 2 steps from the doorway. As she was warning you about the small children, and you start to smell blood as soon as she has ended her talk about that.
Can I see anything inside?
So are you like just peeking around really quick?
Yeah, I mean, I can see the door.
All right, you don't. So just looking in, you don't see anything out of place.
Okay. Something's wrong here.
Except for the fact you don't see any people inside. She did say that, based on what she's told you, there should be 4 people inside. You don't see anyone in the common room of the house.
Shall we?
go loud.
I think it's about time. It's kind of our thing. I'm going in.
She sees you all
I'm gonna call out.
like tensing up, pointing out weapons. She's like, "What's wrong? Are they okay?"
Something's wrong.
Smell blood.
I'm gonna activate Armor of Agathis, so my frosty armor gets frostier.
If this wasn't a tense conversation, she'd mention something about winter. But it's a tense. She wouldn't because it's very tense, and she's concerned about her constituents. And so she's like, I'm not really a fighter, so I'll wait behind you guys.
If you hear anything, just run.
Okay. Like anything, or like
I mean, if I say, hey,
okay,
Alessa, come help me, please.
Yeah.
In that case, don't run away.
okay. Well, I can make everything really dark or everything bright.
Oh, that's pretty good. How about this? Evaluate your own abilities. If you feel like you're able to help us, please God, do so.
Let's see, yeah. She's like that pretty much sums up her abilities because they know dancing lights, darkness, and fairy fire.
Sure. I'll just start. Yeah. I'll go forward. I guess I'll lead the group. I think I'm the biggest boy.
All right, coming
I'm
in.
looking for traps.
Yep. Coming in, you don't see any traps. You still use weapons at the ready. You smell the blood in the air, but you don't see signs of a struggle. Everything that's right in
Do I
this
see a
main
body?
room looks neat and tidy. Almost you see
There's like a storage.
you see food has been laid out for breakfast, but it has gone cold.
Is there a second story?
There is a second story.
Is it the morning?
It is morning. It's about 10 a.m. now.
So this happened. Okay.
All right. I call upon the herald of truth and justice.
By that you mean you're familiar.
Yeah, I war into him.
Literally, Harold. Yes.
All right.
And I send him up the stairs, looking through his eyes.
All right. So light upstairs is spotty, because there's no candle lights on, things of that nature, and the only light is from the windows. So you won't be able to see everything, but you'll be able to see some things.
Oh, I'll call him back.
Shit,
And I'll
we
pop
didn't.
him back as a bat, and then I'll send it back again.
All right.
We didn't.
I think generally it's supposed to be an hour in between form changes, but we'll allow it.
Oh, is it?
I think so. You have to resummon him as a different creature, I believe.
We were not stealthy moving up on this building, were we?
No, you weren't. You were talking and having a grand old time.
Yeah. Okay. That's all. What happens next?
I'm trying to see where it says, because I was under the impression that if you want to change it safe, you had to resummon it. Yeah, if you cast a spell while you already have familiar, you instead cause it to adopt a new form. So it does. You have to basically cast a spell again if you want to change. He can still see. He just won't get all the minute details that he would if he had dark vision or if a light was upstairs. Like there is still some light. But what he does see,
I will cast light on him.
that'll work too.
Light bird.
All right. So what he does see upstairs as he flies up, the light disappears up the stairs, flap, 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 is he sees the rooms of the individuals, of each member of the family. The kids share one because they're very young. You don't know how exactly. And you see two rooms up here where there are individuals in, and I should say bodies in. There is an older man and older woman, and there are two small kids, a boy and a girl. From the looks of it, they're probably the human equivalent of like 7 or 8. And they're dead.
Oh.
What race were they, say?
Drow.
Okay. Ah. Is there anything I can hear at all going on around me?
Give me a perception check.
Ah, Christ damn it.
You can't hear anything.
Yeah, sure. I can't.
Like I said, you just hear your own breathing. It's beginning to get ragged as you're sort of like the adrenaline's pumping, and but yeah, Harold has seen the bodies of 4 drow upstairs. He hasn't seen what has killed them, but they're in pools of their own blood.
Yeah, I relay this to everyone. That you'll be.
So there's food downstairs, right?
Yes. It's all cold
How,
though.
how cold is it though? Is
that
it
cheese?
really cold or is it like lukewarm?
So they have some sort of soup here. This will be a good indication. Maybe because they don't really have a lot to eat, so they pretty much have fungi and potatoes and like root vegetables, stuff like that they can eat. Doesn't require a lot of sunlight. And it's like a potato and mushroom soup, looks like. And it is, you dipping your finger into it, you see that it is on the verge of going cold. So you think, so it's still kind maybe lukewarm, cold, like that area. So you think it's been here, you guess, for about maybe an hour or so.
I cast. I call back Harold. I cast detect poison and disease, and go over to the little table.
You don't get anything from that. The food does not look like it's been poisoned in any way.
Do I get anything?
Oh, sorry, I maybe pressed the wrong button. No, you don't get anything. It doesn't look like it's been poisoned in any way. So whatever killed this family, it is not poison. This would even reach their bodies from here, going around corners, so to speak. So it doesn't look like you sense any poison anywhere in this household. Alaria is freaking out because she sees you guys all at the ready. Your familiar flight. She's like, "What's going on? Where are the Veers? Are they okay?"
Children are dead. I didn't see the big. I didn't see the adults.
No, you did. You saw 4 bodies, 2 kids and 2 adults.
Isn't she?
Oh yeah. They're all dead.
I think you should
Oh.
stay back.
Oh, I'm just gonna. You see tears well in her eyes. She's just like, I'm just gonna be a minute outside.
It's okay. We're gonna deal with this. Just stay.
She walks outside weakly, and then you hear sobbing.
I don't like leaving her alone.
Yeah, she should be with us. If we
With
don't
who,
know
sir?
where this thing is, if we don't know where this thing is, then she should be with us.
Shit. Well,
You can ask her to come back in if you want.
I'll let her just for a second, kind of get her emotions up. And then I'll ask her, "Hey, we could actually use your help here."
You hear like a long sniffle, and then you hear her say, "Yeah."
We could use someone like you, someone strong.
Oh, okay,
We might need you.
I'll try to help. And she's coming back inside, and she's like using the sleeves of her dress to like, wipe at her eyes to the tears out.
Fact is, there's probably someone in here that's very dangerous, and we quickly need to search this place. Whoever did this
Well,
might be still be around.
She's like a sniffle. Was like, well, the only way in and out of our house, our windows are too small to fit through, so the only way in and out is the doorway out front. That you're standing next to, essentially. It's the only way in and out of the house. Unless you're a small creature and then you can fit through the window.
Is it possible for me to tell that someone? I don't know if this is possible, but is it possible for me to tell if someone ran out after killing someone? Like, is the blood fresh enough that I could?
Now you have not been upstairs to look at the blood yet. You've just
Yeah.
heard about what's upstairs from Alistair.
Right.
But
Okay.
but from what's down here, like I said, nothing is out of place. There's no signs of a struggle. There is, like I said, the food is still on the table, even though it's getting cold. If you didn't get high enough of perception and didn't smell blood, you wouldn't have noticed anything out of place.
We should move.
Well, we should go look at the bodies.
I think they're on the next level.
So head up the stairs.
Yeah. I'll just my fucking hammer is at the. I got it before me. Just
Yep.
ready.
So because of the confines of the staircase, if you are attacking the staircase, you'll be restricted to vertical strikes. But
Is this creepy to anyone else? This is super. I got picturesque.
it's posted. Well, thankfully, you have a light in the form of Harold. If you didn't have that, it would be super creepy because it'd be
Just
very poorly lit. The only light being the light shafts from the windows upstairs.
bird light.
We have the Herald of Truth and Justice.
The herald himself.
Do we have to go single file or?
I
You-
picture.
if they were two people of your stature, Aja they could fit through, but Alistair is a big boy, and so is Slizik. So they would have to go one by one. But Drow are very slight, so they could probably fit. You and Alara could probably walk shoulder to shoulder. Aja.
Picture myself going kind of ahead of, like I'm trying to.
I can sneak first.
That's a good point. I
All
mean,
right, I'll take the lead. I've got advantage.
the only thing is that they almost certainly know if there's someone here, they probably know that we're here because we came up pretty unstealthily.
You can give me a stealth check if you're trying to be stealthy up the staircase. If she's successful, they'll know that you're on the first floor. If there's someone here, they'll know you're on the first floor, but they won't hear you ascending. That is not a good roll. Now you don't automatically fail, but 11 is still not good. So.
Well, does she
I've
have
got a
this?
28.
Oh wait, no. You have advantage with the Armor of Shadows. I forgot that was a thing I made for you guys. Okay, yes, 28 is really good. You could have swore the shadows seem to coalesce around you and shift your form almost. So it's very hard unless someone's looking right at you, right where you are. It's very hard to see you.
So can I ask, are we all moving up, or is Aja scouting for us?
That's a good question. That's up to you guys.
If you can just take a peek, maybe that might be wise. Maybe we'll stay back and you take a peek up the next level. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna try and stealth. God damn it!
All right, so
I'm out of this game.
yeah, there's Aja is able to go up the. You're good. Here's the thing: in combat, you will destroy people, but outside of combat, you're a barbarian. So outside of
I
combat,
still have a point. It's not like I'm fucking like -5 or something.
I know. Well, you're just rolling poorly tonight.
Yeah, it's on. It's on. I am just trying to stay still.
Yeah. So you're fine as long as you don't. The stealth will come into play if you're trying to move and be quiet. As long as you're in one place, you're not gonna make a lot of noise unless you purposely try to. Like you just start shaking like a dog would, like rattling your armor around, practice swinging with your hammer, that sort of thing. That'll make noise. But if you're just standing there, you won't make a noise.
I'm trying my best, coordinate. I sneeze.
Yeah, if you sneeze or cough, then yeah. But Aja just like almost disappears into the darkness of the upstairs.
Damn.
And it's still very dim lighting here. There are patches where there's complete darkness and you can't see, but you do see the silhouettes of 4 bodies upstairs, and the smell of blood is stronger here, Aja. Is Harold with you in order to make light.
Can she see without it?
She is a human, so no.
I thought she was half elf. Can half elf see without light?
Half elves can,
Yeah.
Oh,
but I believe Aja is a human because you got a feat at level 1. You're a crossbow expert at level 1. So you do see 4 bodies, smell of blood. You can probably go up to one and investigate. The one that's better lit, like in a room facing the front of the house. This would be probably one of the adults.
Do I need to roll an investigation?
Yes.
this is good shit.
Ooh, 8 is
Damn
not,
it.
8 is not good. So, based on your combat experience, I'll give you some things, but an 8 won't reveal anything else. So you come up, you're looking at the body. It's dim light in this room because it's one of the ones facing the street, and light from the lit lamppost outside is providing some sort of illumination here, but it's very faint. You can see, first of all, you're slinking up and your boot steps into the blood pool by the body. So you notice there's no other bloody footprints around you. Doesn't take an investigation roll to see that. But looking over the body, you try to figure out what was the cause of death. You don't see any obvious signs of trauma. From what Alistair told you, they don't appear to be poisoned either. But you don't see any grievous injuries. You don't see any heads caved in. You don't see any bruises on them. Their clothes appear to be they're blood stained, but you don't see tears in them that would indicate that someone slashed them. So you're not certain what killed them. You just know for certain that they are dead and that they are lying in a pool of their own blood.
Is the body warm?
The body. I did not look up death, the properties of a dying body, but how long the body has, like, when rigor mortis sets and all that stuff. But I will say that the body, sort of where it is in the death state, is consistent with what you've discovered downstairs. It looks like the body has been here for about an hour.
I want to make my way over, and I'll bring Harold with me.
All right. So you walk up. You kick one of the stone steps up on the way. You don't hurt anything, but you chip off a little bit of the stone and make some noise. Slizik just trips over his own feet. Not used to.
Okay, well,
You got an 8 on stealth. Okay. Maybe not used to the confines of Drow architecture or Dwarven architecture built for Drow. I should say.
I see them doing all this, and I'm just kind of in bodyguard mode.
Yeah, you're more concerned protecting the Lara than.
Weapons out. I'm just watching
Alright.
the darkness.
So you guys are going up. Everyone's going up the stairs now. I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So we're upstairs. Now that Harold is here, he can illuminate the situation. You do, in fact, see the 4 bodies.
Nice.
Each in their own sort of. There, you see 4 rooms up here, and it looks like, but only 2 of them have bodies in them. The man and the woman are in one, and the children are in another. Other than the fact that there's blood on the floor. Beneath the bodies, everything else up here is pristine. No signs of a struggle. As for the cause of death, Aja has been unable to figure that out.
Just knows dead for an hour.
Yeah, she just knows around the time of death, about an hour.
I want to take eyes of minute seeing.
Ho,
Put 'em on
ho!
my face. And it's going to be real weird to basically when I get very close to these.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta like
I have to be
yeah.
within a foot.
Get really close.
But I want to take a look. I want to see like what maybe the crime scene looked like reconstruction of what may have happened.
All right. That would be in necromancy, mage college for teaching necromancy, and you didn't. Necromancy is frowned upon, so you don't really teach that in the mage. Not different setting than Forgotten Realms. Just remember, Forgotten Realms to say, okay, here necromancy is if it's not healing, if it's not reviving someone from the dead in their natural state.
Is it actually all right in Forgotten? I've played a lot of
Forgotten Realms is iffy. It's here or there. Generally, people don't like undead, so that's why it's bad. But or they consider it bad. But it's not here. It's friggantly like it's a gray area in Forgotten Realms. Here, you are if you practice necromancy for the purposes of creating undead, you are evil.
Sure, I don't want to ruin the atmosphere. Let's go.
All right, so give me that investigation check. You're going over looking very close at the body, smelling the air, maybe like checking the hands for signs of defensive wounds.
Looking for what may have gone on the floorboards.
Yeah.
Or if there's any scratch marks or something like that.
Yeah, anything that could help you. Oh my God! Dual 20s!
Jeez.
Blah, 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 blah. Damn. Okay. It is almost imperceptible, but you need to roll a 20 or higher to see it, but you obviously did that. You see a very tiny wound on each of the individuals. It's in a different place on each of them, but where it is, it's always a vital point. And the reason you didn't see it is because it's very thin, almost like someone pinpricked them. But due to
where on the body is this?
one person, it's in the back of the neck. Another person, it's in the throat. Another one, it's very faint over their heart. You see a very slight fraying in their clothes, and you see right over where their heart would be. And then the other one, you see it's like just below the eye. But it's like a little pinprick almost. The pinpoint accuracy of this wound, and the fact that it is done with a piercing weapon, and it looks like it was only done once and very quickly, so quickly the person had no time to react or put up a fight, reveals that whoever killed them was probably more than one person, because they had to surprise 4 people, and they were all very skilled assassins, or killers, whatever term you want to use.
Does it look like there was any kind of fight between them?
No. You don't see any signs of a struggle. It looks to be you notice that Aja is trailing blood when she walks, but these individuals, you don't see any signs of anything disturbed before you got here. It's almost like these people just fell down in pools of their own blood. If you had not noticed these tiny pinpricks, that would have been what you had thought happened.
Is that where all the blood is coming from?
Yes.
All these little tiny wounds?
Yes, it's been slowly draining out over the course of an hour.
Okay.
So it's not huge, but you can tell there's still blood there.
Okay. So everyone, take a look at this. Now look closely. Closer.
I get real close.
It's a tiny little. It's barely even anything.
What is it?
It's like the size of a paw.
Is there anything from my kind of pirate knowledge that I would know what this is?
Give me, what would this be? This would be like, you're proficient in martial weapons, so give me a.
It might just be general intelligence.
Yeah, give me an intelligence check.
Yeah, I'm not good at this, but that's fine.
Because it's a weapon, but it's more obscure.
Yeah.
You're not certain. You've heard
Good night.
tales of some pirates being able to kill someone, but no one notice it. But you can't remember what they like during your barroom talk over drinks and cards. You can't remember what exactly the weapon they used was called.
Some sort of specialized
Yeah.
killer was here.
Would I know what that is? If it's some kind of needle or if it's like a, I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, I say what I said there. I don't care. Buddy,
Yeah. That'll let you get a intelligence check.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Based on what Slizik is saying, you can end an intelligence. All right. Yes.
Nice.
Hey,
You, from what Slizik is saying, you think it's there are places where magic is not available for healing, and so people turn to more archaic means of healing or well-being, but it'll be making potions, herbal remedies, like crazy old ladies in the forest brewing potions or mixing their tree bark, that sort of thing. You've also heard of an island, let's say it's Summerfell. The elves there practice an art called acupuncture, where they use needles to alleviate stress or tension in the body. But you also know if these needles are not accurately placed in the body, they can cause great internal harm or even death. And so it appears that's what's been used here. Maybe even a sharpened or reinforced acupuncture needle, so it can pierce bone.
these are some specialized weed.
That's does. I hate to do that thing where I give him advantage and then he gives me. But like, do I know anything about that? Do I know anything about these kind of needle-like?
Yeah, come to think of it, him saying that, you remember the story of the pirate who could kill people without anyone noticing. He was an elf that did this.
There once was an elf a long time ago on my crew, on my father's crew. He could do something similar.
Yeah, you remember he was from Summerfell.
An elf from Summerfell, a place I don't think I've really encountered. Have I?
Yeah, you would have been there. But it's one of the islands. It's one of the towns / islands that's part of the elven sort of city of Amaranthine, which is basically a group of islands that all the elves live on the eastern coast. Collectively, they're all called Amaranthine, but Summerfell is a smaller island of those.
So I know. Is this like a specialized skill?
You haven't
Like,
heard
is
of
it
any.
something-
You haven't heard of or
Like
seen.
I could see this wound and be like, oh, this is from someone from Amaranthine. You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah,
is a
so
specialized-
it's someone either from Summerfell or someone who's been trained by someone from Summerfell,
right.
or someone who's spent time there and picked up how to do it.
You mentioned needles. I know someone on my crew a while ago, an elf from Summerfell. He was able to kind of deal these deadly blows with needle-like instruments. It was a strange kind of fighting style, one that I've never encountered before. Very effective, as we can see. Just be careful going on here. Did I robot out my internet?
No, you're good.
Okay, excellent.
I was waiting for Althor to say something.
Yes,
Also, where is
You guys have not, so far, you guys have made plenty of noise coming here, but you haven't been attacked. So whoever did this probably left. Or has
I guess
left.
they don't have a tendency to stick around.
Oh, they are dead children here.
they are the kill and run type? We'll see. I used to have dealings with them back in the days. Do I know like an organization,
That is
or would that be too?
different. You only know of the one elf who mentioned if you probably even asked him at one point to teach you how you did that thing, and he was like, "No, I can't. You don't have the time." Essentially.
No, that's fair. So I'll just say this man I knew, deadly efficient, but he wasn't much for talking about his order, if that is even fair to say. A mysterious bunch. I don't know. Have you heard anything? What is this lady's name again?
Alara?
Alara. Of anything of this kind of assassination kind of group?
She thinks hard for a second, and you see her brow furrows. Like, no, I don't know. I know Amaranthine and all the other elves that aren't dark elves live there, but I didn't know about this needle thing. I know they live on this large body of water that's salty that you call the sea or ocean.
Right. Do I, and I'm sorry, Nathan, remember this man's name?
Oh Lord, you're killing me here. Because I'm making this up as we go along. Now I'm gonna look at elvish
I
names.
think this, okay, the only reason I asked is I think it could be an interesting kind of story thing.
I know, that's why I want to pursue this, but now I have to look up elven names.
Right, no, just want to be clear.
Okay, his name was His name was Tassar. I like
What's
that
that?
name, Tassar.
Tassal? Please type.
Yeah, Tassar.
Tassar.
We can probably Elvish would probably have 2 S's in there.
And a hyphen.
Yeah, and a hyphen between the S's.
So I think it's safe to say some sort of assassin.
Yeah, it's an assassin. I mean, most likely is an elf, but if not an elf, he was either spent a considerable amount of time there learning the art, or was trained by someone who spent time there.
This man, his name was Tassar, and he, over time, we grew close, and he divulged to me that this sort of fighting style was one that was specific to Amaranthine and the Isles nearby, most likely Summerfell. So this person is most likely either someone from Amaranthine or someone that studied there. I don't know if that quite helps, but better than absolutely nothing, I suppose.
Worth investigating for sure.
I suppose, hey, Alara, do
Yes.
you have any contacts with the people coming in and out of the city? Are we able to perhaps find someone coming from Amaranthine or the nearby city-state?
Yeah, we get. I mean, trade recently with them from the docks, from what I hear, has gone down, but I mean, we occasionally get some shipments from them.
I don't propose to be the smartest member of this crew, but perhaps it's possible that this person could have slipped in amongst these shipments.
A stowaway is not
Multiple
uncommon.
ones.
It's possible.
It could just be. Do I know of any assassin groups like that use this style, or have I just known like this one?
This
To be
is
fair,
a one-off. There might be, but that would be more of a. This would be more of a different shadowy background. Like if you weren't a pirate, maybe if you belonged to a criminal organization that was on land or something like that, and not a pirate,
No,
it would
I
lend
have
itself
very
to that.
low understanding of like land-based criminal groups, so I got nothing.
What why this person?
Did they have
Why is
I don't know. I just for and she,
was he going to tell someone
yeah,
something?
he said he was going to tell me. He said he had figured everything out, and
Oh.
but he was
That'll do it.
he was acting
That'll do it.
crazy, and I thought he was suffering from that random attack syndrome, but I just asked him to go home to his family and sleep it off and come by in the morning. And she's like, "Oh, if only I had listened to him then. He wouldn't. He and his family, and they wouldn't be. And she can't seem to bring herself to say dead.
Look, there's nothing. You did your best for these people. How could you not? The only thing I can ask is what were they doing that might have encouraged this?
Well, let me just.
Well, he was a part of the neighborhood
I
watch.
figured it all out.
He was a part of the neighborhood watch.
Alistair,
I say to the air.
Alistair,
What have you figured out?
I figured it all out. Come at me.
Are you guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, thank God.
So
Do you
what?
think he saw something?
Yaja says maybe he saw something he wasn't supposed to.
Goddamn internet messing with our story.
I did change the server because someone else on another time was having issues. I can try to change it, but I think it's on Central though, which would be better for you.
I mean, for me, it's all good. It's just let's just do it.
Okay. Alistair has an epiphany, and he's going to begin to go into professor mode and explain.
Yes,
No, I just said that. I just said I.
Oh, I thought you were going to launch into a monologue. Because Alaire began to start lean in to listen to what she had to say, and then realize when you don't have anything to say, she just leans back. But she does it very slowly to not embarrass you or herself.
No, I'm not. I was doing and I couldn't think of anything. My plan is to say that, hoping that would
Oh, to get someone. There's just dead silence though.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll gotten wind of that and start attacking. Well, we can.
Sorry,
It's any second now.
I got lost there for a second. What was Alistair trying to do there?
Alistair was trying to say out loud, I figured it out, in hopes that whoever killed this family, if they were still around, would then target him.
You cut out at the very end.
Sorry. Alistair said out loud, I figured it all out, in the hopes that he would bait whoever was still around, if they were, whoever killed his family, to attack him.
Excellent.
But there's been about 30 seconds of just silence. Nothing has happened. This is when Alaire has leaned in to listen to you, then realized when you're not going to speak, just slowly leaned back.
What was the thing? You've just been sitting there.
I was going to see if they were going to, think I was a threat and attack me.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if we haven't been attacked yet, surely this entire building is probably safe. We should probably just kind of get as much info as we can.
Alaire will say that Emerald was on the neighborhood watch. He patrolled often at nighttime. He was concerned for the safety of his. Sorry, did I break up there?
No, it might. I probably just don't know because I'm dumb. Who you were talking to?
Alaire is explained to you.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
She's talking about. She says, well, Emerald, the man of the household who died, was on the neighborhood watch. He often patrolled at night. Our nighttime, so to speak. We normally have the sun and night sun here. But he was concerned about this recent increase in the random attacks. He was concerned about the safety of his wife and his children, and so he was maybe overzealous in his patrols. Maybe he saw something he wasn't supposed to, like Aja said, and someone came by and shut him up for good. It's weird though because it's weird though that Emerald he would have tried to fight whoever was here. I mean he had a manual labor job. He was strong. He we're not allowed like slashing or piercing weapons here, but he was proficient with the club. So I can't. He would have put up a fight if his family's life was at stake.
But that kind of implies that there was an opportunity to fight. Whereas what I've seen so far is that.
What I'm saying is the person who did this was probably a drow. Because he would have been on guard against a non-drow.
And he might have welcomed that person into his home.
We know each other. Most of the people around here was probably someone he knew or had no reason to suspect.
Do neighborhood watch people tend to keep documents about the things they see?
They file some they file some reports occasionally if there's something serious, but Emerald didn't. Recently, he just told me he was going to be looking into this. These attacks and trying to figure out what was behind them, but he didn't file any paperwork. He was kind of paranoid in that way. He didn't want anything in the system, is what he said.
Well, let's inform the city watch of what's going on here, and get to looking about. Maybe talk to some of them about what they've seen anything.
Yeah, there's a guard outpost we can go to down the street.
And we have confirmed that the bodies are who
Yes,
are the people from the house.
Yes, Alara can identify them.
Right. Well, let's head on out and do that.
All right, you go to a dwarven outpost. How much more time you got left there, Slizik?
He'll be right back.
Okay. All right, you guys make your way to the dwarven outpost. It's a squat structure. It's fortified. It has dwarves inside wearing chainmail. They don't seem to. I'm assuming Alaire is leading the way. Welcome back. So, like, how much time you got left?
What time is it? I got about 40 minutes.
Okay. I was wondering because if you didn't have a lot, we were gonna cut it off there, but you still got some time. Okay, so you make your way back to a dwarven guard outpost in order to report the murder of the Lavier family. Alaire is leading the way because she knows the way. She steps through. Guards don't pay her any attention, but as soon as you sort of step through the doorway, they're sort of like lounging, playing cards, drinking, that sort of thing. But as soon as you step forward, she says, excuse me. They pay her no mind. But as soon as you guys step through the door, they sit up straight and like they pretend like they were working all along. And they say, yes, what can we do for you esteemed emissaries? Alara just huffs.
What? Sorry.
More
Can I?
murders.
Did I miss something while I was gone? What? Where did we go?
You're headed towards the Dwarven outpost to report the murder of the Levere family, the household you were just at, and also try to get any more information about any strange persons, maybe any insights into these attacks, who's committing them, just more information in general.
Excellent. Continue. Sorry.
And you can clearly see the disrespect they show. You don't know, you're not certain if it's all Drow or just a lair in particular, but they seem to, once you guys have sort of entered the premises, they got their act together. Alara would probably normally take offense, but because you're actually getting stuff done, she's just going to step behind you and let you guys talk.
Does she seem like confident talking to these people, or is she?
No.
Yeah.
She was nervous around you, but as she talked to you more, you see the confidence grew. She was more regarding you with curiosity because you're people she's never really seen, like races and stuff. But around them, she's excuse me, but she said it in a weak voice, and she's very nervous around the dwarves. But yeah, you guys, she noticed the dwarves were paying attention to you, she stepped back to let you guys address the dwarven guards, or city watch, police force, whatever you want to call them.
Did someone already talk to them?
No. They just said, "What can we do for you, esteemed emissaries of Stormhaven?"
This woman here, this representative of the Drow, says that her people are being murdered.
Oh. He says, "Well, I can't think of a clever racist remark, but he would call them blueskins. He would
Is that what he said?
He would call, this is what DM said, he would call them blueskin knife ears, first off.
Okay. Still
He
not
says,
good.
well, what's one or two less blueskin knife ears in the world?
That's
Alara makes a face at that.
Yeah, that's one or two less blueskins, as you call them, that could be helping our cause against Norath. Don't you agree?
And they all laugh when you say help. And then, he's like, esteemed emissary, you're from Stormhaven, so you might not know much about these the Drow or what they're like, but I've been stationed down here for 10 years now, and these Drow don't do anything. They don't want to do anything, and they can't do anything. They're good for nothing. They can't even be outside in the sun.
What's Alara's reaction?
She tries to say something. You see her but as soon as he says they can't even be outside in the sun, she then her shoulders slump. He's like, how could they possibly help in a fight against another city?
Do you know?
Blizzard starts to rage.
Sir, I'll say, sir, do you know about the intricacies of the water cycle?
He's like, I know. He's like, if you're talking about rain, I know about that.
Mm-hmm. But exactly what is it?
He looks to his friends, and they give him shrugs. Rain?
I'll go ahead and gesture.
Yes.
Miss, would you mind enlightening them?
Oh.
Yes.
Well, so I haven't been to school in a while, so I'm just going to tell you what I remember from the water cycle.
Well, yeah, just what I would have gone. I went to the whole rigmarole.
Yeah, she's going to explain it in the term that she understands. So she says, basically, the sun melts the salty water and turns it into gas. No, she says the sun melts the salty liquid water turns it into floaty water, and then called clouds. And the floaty water, once it gets big enough, then falls back down to the sky, to the ground as rain.
She says it more confidently though.
Falls back down to the sky, the ground as rain, which goes back eventually, which fills our lakes and rivers and groundwater and stuff like that, but eventually makes its way back to the salty liquid water called the ocean.
That's exactly right. You know what's interesting is she got that right. She knows this because she pays attention. Now, you missed several murders in this town that you've been tasked to actually look over and safeguard because you don't pay attention. If we could have some more people like her, I think that we'd be in a lot better state to take on this threat than without her.
And Slizik,
With people like you, it's a bit of a rough situation.
Slizik is just standing beside her, looking fucking masculine as shit, just backing up this what he's saying pretty much.
Now, you don't seem to have too much imagination, so let me help you understand what we could serve to have, what they could serve to do in this. Well, these people do not have to. They don't have to have torches. They don't have to struggle to see very far. In fact, they can see better than your kind. Is that right?
Okay,
He scowls when you say that, and what he
Yeah,
doesn't say anything.
Also,
I
they're
think that's-
faster than you people.
He doesn't want to admit that the Drow are anyway better than him. So every time you bring up how they are objectively better, he will not say anything. He'll just scowl.
You have a little bit of a rough time going anywhere fast. It's just a limitation of your physiology.
You can't
But
reach anything
if
on the
we
high
wanted-
shelves.
Yeah. If we wanted some people who were able to act as scouts during the night, there's no better people on this continent than they. They can go out at night. They can see what they can see for long distances and report back, as well as acting as subterfuge spies. There's all kinds of things. Deploying up a squad of these people behind enemy lines, sabotage supply lines, perform night attack on encampments. That's perfect.
even taking out the.
Look, I'll send some men over to investigate the murder. Is that what you wanted to hear?
Here. I want you to care. I want you to care that your family, everyone you know, your way of life, your entire the legacy of your clan is threat. And in this division, this derision, you're serving the enemy. That's what you do. So I want that to stop.
That's beautiful.
Esteemed emissary, that's a little outside my pay grade. If it's troubling you that much, you should bring it up with the High King.
You're just yelling at some. Like,
Yeah.
right.
In the meantime, what your pay grade is, at least live up to that. Keep the peace.
Right.
Give people a little bit more respect and act like their lives have worth.
Standard procedure is to send someone over to investigate the crime, to figure out how they died and who did it, and to double patrols. I can't double patrols if my people get randomly attacked by some crazy drow.
That's what we're working on, but you can certainly serve the double patrols. I mean, if we can find out when this attack is happening, then we can respond to it. But I know you were hard at work assessing out the winner of your card game, but maybe your investigative skills could be better used elsewhere.
He sighs. And it's like, fine, I'll go myself.
Dwarven work ethic I keep hearing about.
And he
Everywhere
begins.
I go, everyone talks
he
about
begins,
how hardworking these dwarves are, and here I come, I see you.
He's like, fine, I'll go in myself. He begins strapping on more of his armor, getting his sword and his shield and stuff. And he says, insert 2 random dwarf names here. You're with me.
Marston.
You.
Skarsgård.
He says, you mind the store. And then they go out.
Dwarven names are the easiest. It's just
Thorgrim and
Balrin.
Bolvar.
Gasgar.
Gazga.
There you go.
Anyways.
And so sorry, he was at 4 dwarves in total go out. The 5th one is mining the guard outpost. And Alara does, once you guys, most of them have left, she does say thank you, Lord Alistair, that such an esteemed individual would stand up for someone like me it's nice. She gives you a faint smile.
Don't even worry. The best thing to do is know your worth, act on it, learn more to improve your worth.
And she nods her head vigorously.
There's strength in her.
So you say that this you kind of he was part of the next guard or the night watch.
Yeah, neighborhood watch. Is what the murdered man was a part of, and he told.
That's separate from the town guard.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they don't like having how you put down. Here's how to put down a populace 101. See Jim Crow laws, but basically, you don't allow any unification whatsoever. So you don't allow them to do their own police work. You don't allow, the most they can have is a neighborhood watch, which they have. But they don't really have, they're not issued formal training, from what you can tell. Or there's not really a system in order for them to, do proper investigation and stuff. It's mainly looking out for thieves and maybe someone peddling in illicit substances, that sort of stuff. Certainly not conspiracies or murders. They're not equipped for that. And so, but Alaire did mention that he was obsessed with these attacks and figuring out what was behind them all. And he had come to her saying that he had figured everything out. But he was hysterical and she was scared. Because he was so hysterical, she told him to just, calm down, go home, sleep on it. She'll come by first thing in the morning to talk to him about what he had figured out. But because she worked so late in the night, she overslept. And you guys woke her up, and then you came to the murder scene. So he may have told more than one person, or was loud in yelling at Alara. So maybe someone outside walking by heard it. But you're not certain how this information, what he figured out. Maybe whatever he saw or figured out was also seen. He was also seen, or someone else also figured it out too and sought to silence him. As to who that is, or whom, you're not certain.
Shit.
Well, maybe we should go and talk to the other members of the neighborhood watch. They might seem to be a bit more in tune with the community.
Seems prudent.
And yeah, she nods. She says, "I think that's a great idea. There's There's someone in the next street over we can talk to. I don't know if they'll be in because they do have a day job, but we can see if they're there. If not, we can go to someone else. Stepping outside the guard post. Now it's time to look at everyone's passive perceptions.
Not good.
14. Well, yours is obviously.
real
It's
very
real bad.
Alistair's is good. I know that.
Big 10.
I'm moving your sheet around to see what passive perception is, so just give me a second. Ooh, 21 passive perception. Hot damn. Okay.
Jesus.
As soon as you step out, you notice a feint. Someone causes your nose to crinkle. It's a smell that you didn't notice before, but you feel it wafting by you. And it's coming from a cart that's being pulled by 2 drow. The cart has these barrels on it and crates. And the odor, give me an intelligence check.
Okay. Okay.
As you thought earlier, the odor reminds you of the drug Fury. You didn't partake in this stimulant yourself, this aerosol yourself, but you did catch a whiff of it when Nessa blew up a batch of it when you first met her.
Yes.
The drug dealers were it was a drug deal for Fury and other drugs, and she blew it up, and you smelled Fury for a brief moment before it was all incinerated. This is the smell you smell wafting by you, coming from this cart. It's very faint, but with you need an 18 passive perception to sense it, to smell it. But with that, you smell it coming from this cart. They're going by you. They're 2 drow. They have cloaks on and hoods up, but they don't seem out of place. They don't seem lost or confused. They're moving with purpose down the street. They're not going fast though. They're just, if you hadn't smelled the smell, you'd have been 2 drow at work.
As a pirate, can I?
I make a face, and then look around everyone, and nod toward the cart, and I cast detect poison and disease.
Oh yes, these barrels. It's not quite. It smells. It smelled similar to Fury. It's not quite Fury. It's maybe a derivative, but it is the effects. It looks to be. It tells you the type of poison. It's like a derivative of Fury. It looks to be like maybe a lesser dose of it. Like not as potent.
I'm moving in on that cart.
All right. Do you approach the cart stealthily, or with intent? Do you make yourselves known to the drow? How are you making moves on this cart? Do you just follow it?
I think I start like speeding up alongside it, not like looking intently at it, and I want to like move the party in front of the cart to stop it.
All right.
I see what he's doing. I move to do so.
All right. So you guys move up to in front of this cart, and the drow in front says he says, "Can I?" It's common. But it's like broken. Maybe they're more used to speaking a different language than common, Elvish, perhaps. Because there's a kind of a lilt to the common he's saying. He says, "Can I help you, sirs?"
What's in the cart?
He says, "Oh, nothing of import. Just standard trade goods."
Can I? Is there something over it, like a tarp or something?
Yes, there's like a tarp over it.
I'll rip it off.
I like everyone to roll initiative.
Oh,
All right, here we
Okay.
go.
There's not a map for this. You are all within stabbing range. Everyone with this is within at least 10 feet of everyone else.
I mean, I think you meant to say they're all in hammer. Range.
Hammer range, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, beat that tasty +6.
Yeah, so you got a 20. Just roll again with your token highlight. We'll use a 21.
Oh yeah.
I actually got a 10.
Oh,
Oh,
give me.
dang. Well, Alistair's modifier is higher, so he'll go first, but you'll go right after him.
Yeah.
I'll get the bad guys up too. All right, yeah, you can just modify that. Put 21 in there. Alara, she has some magic, so I'll put her in there too. She doesn't have a token though, because I didn't plan on her fighting, but she will help if you guys are going
Is my
in.
armor Vagathus still up?
It lasts for an hour, right?
Yeah.
It's on like the last 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'll put Alara in, so she'll help. I don't have a token for her, so I'll just make one. And I'll roll for her. Let's give her a plus. Elves are dexterous. Let's give her a plus. She's also commoner. +2.
So-
the map or
22. You're all within. She got a 20. What?
What?
You are all within like 10 feet. I don't have a map because I didn't plan for this to happen. I planned for you to follow them to where they were going. But if you want to engage them now,
Just
that'll also work.
assume I'm going to fight people.
But yeah, like I said, you don't need a map for this because you can use theory of their mind because you're all within 5 or 10 feet of these people. And there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
So you don't really need a map for this. You're also on a street as well. So not a lot of places to go.
Right.
Let's put them in there too. I do have them up, like they're enemy type. So that'll work. I just gotta find it because I have a lot of tabs. Humanoid. Okay. Let's go with Drow 1. I'll put their tokens out. That'll be better.
I have +3 dexterity, which is surprising.
Let's call this boy Drow 1. Let's call this guy Drow 2.
Gotta get some.
All right, can you see Can you see their names? They're not to size as you guys are, but
I can see their names.
okay, good. Now I'll roll for them.
Battle music.
Okay, she got a 22. I'll have you guys might murder them before they even get to go.
That's how we do.
They have a bit of health though, so they'll probably at least go once. Let's see, Aja, your dexterity is probably higher than a. Wait, I don't know. They have a +4. Aja, what is your modifier?
Also a 4.
It's a roll off. It's just a d20 roll. Oh yeah, you go before him. Okay, 17.5. Man, you're all gonna go before they can even act. Yeah, so how we'll play this is basically they're gonna try to be like, sir, you don't need to concern yourself with a lowly drow like me. And then, when you pull it back, that's when you see the short swords come out, the hand crossbows, that sort of stuff. Alara goes first. She's going to look at the closest one. Actually, no. So she doesn't really have any attack magic. She has support magic. She has Fairy Fire. Fairy Fire is an area. So she could probably get... Actually, no. What she's going to do... You're going to have... I'm going to have to look this up because I didn't plan on Alara being... So I'm going to look up Wizard second level spells and see what she would have that could help you guys. Okay, she is going to... She is going to cast probably a spell on Slizik because he's like right up in their face. She is going to cast Enlarge and Reduce would be too conspicuous. So she's going to try to hold person on one.
No.
Not you. She's going to try to hold... If she holds them, you will be automatic criticals against them if you hit them. You want her to do this. So she's going to try to hold Drow 1, and they'll be paralyzed if that happens. Paralyzed means they're incapacitated. If they're hit by any attack within 5 feet, it's automatic critical, and they fail on dex and saving throws, and attack rolls made against them have advantage. So you want her this...
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So she's going to try to hold Drow 1. DC for this is, let's put it at 14.
Do it, Alara.
Alright, so his wisdom... Got 7. Drow 1 is held. Man, he had a +4 to saves, too. Sucks to be
She's
him.
all badass right now, too, right?
I'm sorry, what?
She's gotta be badass right now.
Yeah. She's like, I can't believe that worked. It's the first time I've ever used it on a person. Alright, Alistair. Drow 1 is paralyzed.
I'm gonna cast Suggestion on Drow 2. My suggestion is be nice to us and answer all of our questions truthfully.
Alright. Put that in the blurb because he's an elf, so he has Fey ancestry. So if it's a charmed effect,
Oh shit, that's right.
if it's a charmed effect, he's advantage against it.
So it put the spell.
Yeah, because it'll say something like creatures immune to being charmed can't be charmed by it. If it says that, it's a charm effect. Yeah,
Creatures that
can't be charmed or immune. So it's a charm effect, so he has advantage against a saving throw on this.
Okay.
So it's wisdom, right?
Correct.
Okay. He can go again. He got 17 on the advantage. He says,
Yeah.
no, I don't think I'll be doing that. I'd rather be slitting throats instead.
Shit.
Now,
Gotcha.
you can move away from them, too, if you want. To put some distance between you, so you can get your, range attacks going.
Am I...
Let's say Slizik was taking the lead, so you're about 10 feet from a drow. So you can back up without him stabbing you.
I'll pop my 30 back.
Okay. You also have a bonus action if you don't want anything.
I mean, I don't have anything that can do a bonus action. It's not a spell.
Okay. Slizik. There's a person here who is ripe for murder. I'm assuming you want to rage.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna rage because he sees his past victims in these people that he's now defending, these drow. And I think he's gonna, just flip the fuck out.
Yeah. Now, because this one's already paralyzed, you don't need a reckless attack to get advantage against this person.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just hit him with my fucking hammer. Fuck it.
All right, 2 attacks. These are all critical, so we'll just say they do double damage.
Great weapon fighting as
All
well.
right, so -5 to the roll. Oh. Okay, so that is
Very good.
14 times 2 is 28, plus your rage damage
And
is
plus rage. To
yeah,
both.
plus
I don't have that added.
yeah. So rage doesn't damage double; it's only the damage dice you roll for critical. So that's still 30 damage with 1 hit, I think.
Yeah.
Bonk. And
I think I get another one, bud.
Yep.
Ah, shit.
You're with advantage. That still hits. The 28 does.
Bonk.
I'm sorry. I miss. Okay, so that's already with crit. So let's say. I'm sorry. I'm math is the worst.
Yeah.
But we'll say with that critical and your 2 hits and him being paralyzed, you just destroy him. He's looking up with horror. His expression changes as he sees the hammer coming down. The first one, because you're so close, you like knock him back with the pommel to get yourself more space. And as he's falling backwards because he's paralyzed, like he's just a plank falling backwards, you go right down on his head. And just turns, it just obliterates. He gets stuck in his in where his shoulders are. Your maul does, and you pull it out.
Oh, furious.
And there's crackles of lightning along the.
Answered all of our questions truthfully.
There's crackles of lightning along you and your weapon. And you smell ozone in the air.
Yeah.
You gotta. Okay, Aja.
Well, I hate to follow that. Drow is dead. Am I right? Drow 1 is dead.
Drow 1 is dead. He did like 50 plus damage in a turn, so. Damn, so we're just gonna go with that. Yeah.
Bonk.
Alright, then Drow 2.
Oh my god, the criticals!
Oh, goodness gracious.
This is
Did you want to do you have the one that lets you do sharpshooter, I think it is?
I have crossbow expert.
Okay, do you have sharpshooter too? Because you got a new feat at 4. I don't know if you took sharpshooter as well.
I didn't.
Okay, because that's generally the wombo combo for a hand crossbow is crossbow expert and sharpshooter. But still, you do get sneak attack damage because they're that close. Slick is up in it. So you deal 19. You do 29 damage with 1 hit. You have a bonus action. You can fire again. You bloodied him in 1 shot, by the way. That also hits. You don't get sneak, but he is well past bloody. 2 bolts just in his chest. He manages to turn out of the way so you miss vital areas, but he is winded and heavily wounded.
Oh.
Man, damn. Okay, well, Drow 1 is dead, so he doesn't get to go. Drow 2 is going to cast Darkness and dip the fuck out.
Yeah. So, can I reach him?
You can, but he's going to cast Darkness on himself and then run away. Basically, if you attack him, it'll be at disadvantage because you can't see.
Right.
So he'll do that. Darkness, and he will flee. He's not disengaging because he can't do that. He's just running away. So you can attempt. He's going to move away. Alistair is already too far back to get the opportunity attack. But Aja and Slizik at disadvantage can attempt to opportunity attack him.
Yeah, I'm doing that. No.
No, that misses him. Just barely. You're suddenly swallowed by an orb of darkness that none of you. If Anna was here, she could see through it, but it is so complete you can't possibly hope to see through it. So you're just going by sound, and you miss him.
This is cheesy. Am I able to lightning breath instead of attack? That's what I meant to do.
You can't. You can only swing with a weapon, or if you have Warcaster, you can cast a spell.
No, fair enough.
Did I see this? Did I like?
You can attempt to counterspell the darkness if you wanted to.
Yes! Please.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
All right. So he's
Do I
gonna
get an
say this orb of darkness begins to spring into existence and rapidly expand, and then you counterspell it and it fizzles out. And he looks shocked, but he still tries to run because he already used his action. So he's still gonna try to run.
Do I still have disadvantage on that
No.
attack? If he...
You still have normal attack. So the 19 will hit
Does
him,
19 hit?
but it won't kill him.
Shit. On the end of my turn, I zapped them, though.
You didn't hit him though. Like on your turn, you did. This is a reaction.
Shit. I thought it was if he's within 10 feet of me, I could just zap them.
Is it automatic or is it a bonus action?
It's at the end of my turn. At the end of each of my turns, I can choose a creature in my aura. If he's in 10 feet, I can zap him at the end of my turn.
Yeah, we can mitigate that. So he's running away. We'll say you meant to do that, but I forgot, and you forgot, so you do it now. Because he's running away, and you just stomp the ground in his direction, and this lightning travels along the ground towards him. Dexterity save, 14. There's no rage damage on this, because it's not an attack with a melee weapon, but 9 damage. Oh man, he has 9 health left.
Yes!
So let's see. No, wait, you gotta save. He's gotta save. So let's see. He's got +7.
Yeah, like that.
Come on.
He got a 10 on the save. You got a 3 roll. So you swing, you clip him, and he falters, but then picks back up and begins sprinting away, and then you stomp the ground. This lightning travels along the ground and reaches his leg and just toasts him. Like a tase effect, he stands still and just shakes uncontrollably and falls down dead. You smell burnt drow in the air now. Alaire was like, "What just happened? That was amazing!"
Fucking bad!
Did you see the spell? And then the lightning, and then the darkness, but not darkness, and then the arrows.
Yeah, by the way, damn good counterspell. Jesus.
But she's calming down. It's like, but now we can't ask them what they were doing.
Yeah, but that was rad though, right?
Yes,
That might have been our coolest.
it was exhilarating.
Yeah, no shit.
I didn't expect back-to-back crits. Damn, they had 60 health each.
That's how we do. Extreme prejudice is how we deal with our
Yeah,
problems.
that's why I said you were saving up your rolls, going low rolls through the whole session, and just bust out when combat happened.
No, it wouldn't have mattered if he didn't get the counter spell in. Like, that was sick.
All right, so I think it's about time for us to end the session, but I will say this. So you guys don't have any clues, so to go, with where these drow were going, where they were taking this derivative of fury, but now that you have smelled it in the air with your passive perception, Alistair, you think that with a combination of detect poison and your super sniffer, you can probably find maybe more sources, now that you've identified it by smell, more sources of this substance in the air around town. Maybe find places where it's concentrated, maybe where there's more stockpiles of this drug, wherever they're taking it to, that sort of thing. Something to consider now that you don't have interrogation open to you. Unless someone has to speak with dead.
Or I could fuck up some kneecaps.
But yeah, you think using your keen senses and detect poison, you could probably find other stockpiles or concentrations of this substance. But with that exhilarating combat that was super quick but also amazing, we're gonna end.
Very good.
We're gonna end the session there.
Good